I have said this on many occasions, and judging by the unhinged behavior of left-wing extremists, my rhetoric is about, well, it's about to be considered a legitimate warning. Vote as if your life depended on it, because if these people win, it just might. That's the warning in tonight's preamble. Many of you have forgotten the name Keith Olbermann. He was once a sportscaster. He devolved into the godfather of left-wing hate on cable. His personality and views became so toxic that his views were so extreme that not even MSNBS could sanction giving him a platform anymore. He encapsulates the Beijing, Biden, AOC, Bernie Panders, Rashida MF Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Maxine Waters wing of the Democrat Socialist Party. Now, he crawled out of a hole this weekend and gave Americans a preview of what life will be like if radicals like him capture power.
The terrorist Trump must be defeated, must be destroyed, must be devoured at the ballot box. And then he and his enablers and his supporters and his collaborators and the Mike Lees and the William Barrs and the Sean Hannitys and the Mike Pences and the Rudy Giulianis and the Kyle Rittenhouses and the Amy Coney Barretts must be prosecuted and convicted and removed from our society while we try to rebuild it.
Notice how this inhuman leftist slug didn't articulate the crime that we Trump supporters would be guilty of. He merely said we'd be prosecuted, convicted, and removed from American society because we supported a candidate that he didn't. That's how banana republics and dictatorships work, folks. If you oppose Castro, Maduro, Putin, or Xi, dissent is your crime. Olbermann wants to criminalize disagreeing with him and his party of sickos. Ironically, this advocacy and behavior is what the left accuses Donald Trump of doing. But as the Salcedo show axiom goes, liberals accuse others of having qualities that they themselves have in abundance. Is this the America you want to live in, where you are prosecuted and convicted simply for disagreeing with anti-American liberals? If not, vote. Your life may depend on it. Beijing Biden was asked by KTNV in Nevada if he thought Americans had the right to know what he will do on the courts before he's elected. Here's what he said.
I've got to ask you about packing the courts, and I know that you said yesterday you aren't going to answer the question until after the election, but this is the #1 thing that I've been asked about from viewers in the past couple of days.
Well, you've been asked by the viewers who are probably Republicans who don't want me continuing to talk about what they're doing to the court right now.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know where
they
you stand?
don't. I'm not going to play his game.
Okay, I don't think I have ever heard a candidate for any office say that voters don't have a right to know their position before the candidate asks them for their vote. But that's what Biden is doing. He says you have to vote for him before you can find out what he will do to our country, our communities, our families. He must have attended a Nancy Pelosi seminar on electoral politics. Nutty Nancy uttered the now infamous phrase, quote, we have to pass the bill so we can find out what's in it, when talking about Obamacare. With skyrocketing premiums and deductibles, with Americans never paying more for their health care, we continue to pay a heavy price for accepting this new normal from Democrats. Do you want to live in America where politicians say you don't have the right to know what they stand for before you vote for them? If not, vote. Your life may depend on it. In the same interview, Jim Crow Joe made a claim about the nomination and confirmation of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court.
And I've already said something on court pack. He'd love that to be the discussion instead of what he's doing now. He's about to make a pick in the middle of an election. First time it's ever been done. First time in history it's ever been done, #1.
#1, that is just an out-and-out lie. Senator Ted Cruz at today's confirmation hearing for ACB set the record straight and educated Americans on our history, a history that Democrats have worked very hard to make sure is no longer taught in government-run schools.
This question of what happens when there's a Supreme Court vacancy during a presidential election year, 2020 is not the first time America has faced that question. Indeed, in our country's history, that question has come up a total of 29 times. So 29 times, presidents have faced the same circumstance. And presidents have nominated individuals to fill those positions all 29 times, 100% of it. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. From a president's perspective, it's easy. If there's a vacancy, even during a presidential election year, you make a nomination. 44 individuals have served as president throughout the history of our country. Half of them, 22 of the presidents we have had, have made Supreme Court nominations for vacancies that occurred during a presidential election year. But what has the Senate done? Well, again, the Senate precedent is quite clear and is something that our Democratic friends do not want to address, do not want to confront. Of those 29 times, 19 of them occurred when the president and the Senate were of the same party. And when the president and the Senate are the same party, history shows that those nominees get confirmed. 17 of those 19 were confirmed for vacancies that occurred during a presidential election year.
So what Beijing Biden said was an out-and-out lie. What Ted Cruz said there in an open hearing was the truth. You see, dictators lie, folks. That's what they do. Castro did it, Chavez did it, Putin is doing it right now, and Xi Jinping's lies have killed over 213,000 Americans and counting with the China virus. Is this the America you want? Where Democrats say that you don't have the right to question them, where they don't have to tell you where they stand on the issues that matter to you, where they will prosecute you, convict you, and remove you from society simply for having a differing opinion from theirs? If that doesn't sound like America, well, you'd be right. I'm more sure now than I have ever been. If every American doesn't rise up and oppose these Marxist extremists, we will lose this way of life of ours. We will lose this last best hope for mankind on earth. If you stand against the Democrat socialist vision for America, vote. Your life, the lives of your friends and family, the survival of our very nation does depend on it.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.